I am going to, so I think I told you, Ella, or maybe I haven't. She has agreed to sign up and go for Student of the Year, the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Ooh.
And we will not be the National Student of the Year because that person raises like over $200,000. So it's a contest, whoever can make the most money in 7 weeks. And so I just want to put it out there. I'm going to put a link on our website. It
Yeah.
won't start till January 1st. But if you have been any way, shape, or form of been unfortunately with leukemia or lymphoma, we would like if you would donate towards that starting January 1st. So my nephew died at 6 years old with leukemia. He had the most rarest form of JMML, juvenile leukemia. And he was diagnosed in July of his 5th year and died 2 months after he turned 6. So he, for like 5 or 6 months, and he died at Dornbecker's Children's Hospital. But he had leukemia. So Ella is using him as her catalyst to keep her um, just pushing forward, because we were originally going to set our goal of $23,000, $1 or $1,000 a year for the year he would be born or lived, right? He'd be 23 this year. But
Oh,
after hearing the numbers of how much they earn, we're like, he's worth $2,000 a year. So we're going to aim for 46,000, but I'm not sure if that will happen, but we're going to try our best. And I think that would make my sister happy, knowing that we are doing something in his name, in his honor.
give
So,
back, and he would be happy. And
yeah.
you don't have to be afflicted with leukemia or lymphoma to give to Ella's sponsorship. I think that's wonderful. My husband used to sell a product that was for leukemia or lymphoma. I'm not sure which one. And so he would help plan the Light the Night,
Mm.
which is the event that they always do. And I don't know if they can still do it during COVID, but oh my gosh, it's such a fun thing. You have we would go early and we'd blow up these helium balloons and they'd put like light sticks inside of them. And then we'd walk and kind of parade around the Civic Center down in Northeast Portland, and we'd have a Light the Night.
Um, so this particular company or foundation, they actually raise money not only for research but family support. And
Yeah.
then there is different advisors, and I don't know if your husband worked on any of this, but the advisors, so like let's just say you have leukemia,
Mhm.
there's all these resources available through them. But
Mhm.
unless you have somebody, a volunteer, coming up to you and saying, we can help you with this, because like when you're in the mix of like having this terrible disease and you're just trying to survive, it's nice if there are these resources of people reaching out to families that could use these extra supports that are completely free, because people have fundraised lots of money towards it. So
Yes.
we're going to be
It's a
going that.
good organization. They
Yeah.
are really good, at least as
Night the
far as
night. I've never heard of that. That sounds really cool.
it's so nice. It's so
Yeah.
fun, and there's people there that have survived, and their family members, and I think they get a special color balloon. So
Mm.
it's kind of cool
Yeah.
to see the different colors and really neat. Well, yeah, that's a great little thing for her to do. Good for her.
Yeah,
And then also,
we might do like a like your own, like say if you want to do your own 5K or your own like half marathon, that would be up to you to get your sponsors, and then all that money that you raise could go towards donating towards the LLS through Ella for the Student of the Year project. So
yeah.
she might be organizing something along those lines, and you can do that from anywhere, not just Oregon.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great thing to give to her. That's a great group. And also, I know somebody who she's a college student and she has started making lanyards for your face masks. So how many times do we take these off and then you have nowhere to put them, and you just want to be able to just pull them down for a little bit to do something and put them back up? It's OregonMaskLanyard.com.
Okay.
So really inexpensive. It's going to a good cause. She's a college student. She's using the money to get through college. So go support her if you need a lanyard. I mean, who doesn't? I think we're going to be in this a long, long time. And I know she has white and she has black. I think those are the only two colors right now that she has. So yeah, really support the youngins. I like it.
Ah, that's great. I like it.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a story too? This might be on a different episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to tell you how I found this story. It
Okay.
was um, one of my clients was talking to me about the movie To Die For, and it's only because it's based on a true story. She's like, "Oh, have you seen that movie?" And I've seen it long time ago, and it's with Nicole Kidman, Matt Dillon, and Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
I don't know how old it is exactly, but they're very young in this movie, and so it's based on the woman's name was her maiden name was Pamela Wojcik, but then she became Pamela Smart. She married Gregory. Now Gregory and her met, I believe, when she was in college at Florida State University, but they're
Mhm.
from New Hampshire.
Okay.
So how they met was she came home for Christmas and went to a Christmas party where she met Gregory, and she said she wasn't attracted to him at first, but that he's kind of a ladies man, and so for however it worked out, they started dating, and they were pretty serious. They got married within 2 years. Then she was sort of a reporter. She was very driven. She wanted to be on the news. She wanted to be the next Barbara Walters. So she is working at a local news station, and also she got a job through the school district. And now the school district had her being because she worked with the media stuff, they had her doing educational videos,
Mhm.
and she was working on the project for self-esteem. So then she recruited a few of the high school kids to come and help her. And then they became basically her team, like her, go-to people. She had hours and hours of, um, doing interviews with these kids and then other kids. Well, then she became very close with these kids, like
Oh.
too close with these kids. And so there was a girl and a boy that she was really working with. And like, if you go by the movie, which was loosely based on it, at one point, they ask her to go take the dog for a walk. And when she comes back, they're in bed together, the boy and the teacher. Well, she wasn't a teacher. She was an educator for the
Right.
school district, but he was 15 years old. And so she knew that there was this relationship going on, and but she was also being spoiled with gifts and stuff from this woman.
Yes.
And she would say things to the boy like, "Gosh, if I wasn't married, we could be together, or we wouldn't have to hide if I wasn't married," or things like that. So she claims she made all those kinds of comments, but never suggesting he kills her husband.
Mhm.
Because what comes next is that boy and two others came to the home that she supposedly left unlocked, and they got in and they murdered her husband. Let's see, about a couple of days before their first anniversary. Now she's claiming innocence. She's saying that these boys did it on their own. Um, they have now are out of prison and she's still in prison. And I think what had happened was she was at one prison and then she moved to another one, and then they played, and maybe she moved because of this. I don't know if it happened at the old one and that's why she was moved, or at the new one and now she's sort of separated. But they played that movie To Die For in like their hall, and then she was beat up really, really
Get the
bad.
shit beat out of her.
Well, I didn't want to, like, I'm like, I don't know if we could say bad words if we put this on like YouTube or whatever. So she had the living daylights beat out
I
of her.
think we
And it
can.
was bad. She has like a plate in her face and everything. It was
Oh my
bad.
gosh.
Um, but the boys still claim that, she completely manipulated them. These boys weren't good boys though. Like they had robbed another place like 3 days earlier. So she's saying these aren't great kids. They did this anyway.
Yeah.
And then they were just robbing my place. And the only thing that really convicted her was the girl involved went in with a wire. And she even hugs her. She's like, "Oh, I don't really trust you. I'm gonna hug you." She never found it. And there's conversation of like, well, as long as that's what I'm afraid you're going to tell the truth, or you're going to do this or that. So she kind of did it. She with that video is what convicted her. Oh, and this is what I was going to say. Sorry. Oh my gosh, this is how my brain works. The reason why I'm even saying this, because we like local cases, right?
Right.
Well, in the movie, I was watching this with Michael and the kids. Michael was actually in the kitchen, but their TV was on in the movie, and it was Tom Peterson and Gloria's too.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Michael and I look up at each other, and I'm like, "That's so
Heard
weird. I
that.
don't think this is a local case." It wasn't. It happened in New Hampshire. It was filmed in Canada, but the director is what's his name? Gus Van Sant,
Oh
who's
yeah, yeah, yeah. He
So,
is.
yeah, so he's from Portland. So, I mean, unless the TV, but you know how like they probably had like a VHS at that time put
Yes.
in there, and that's what's playing the commercial. Because, like if they have to cut, do it again, it has to line up. So I'm guessing that was put in there on purpose, that particular commercial,
Gosh,
because
yes.
it's a local store here. So that's the local tie to Portland in this movie, which brought me to this case, which not isn't legal or local, but it was still an interesting case. It almost reminds me of that Laterno,
Yeah, I was gonna say, and
Mary
you know
Lou
he
Laterno
just
out of
died, right?
Seattle.
You know
Yeah,
she just died.
I know.
Um, so what's funny about that thing, remember it was Ron Peterson at first, and then they went through bankruptcy
Yeah.
and they became Ron Peterson and Gloria's
Tom
too.
Tom Peterson.
Tom Peter, what'd I say?
Yeah. And then you would get the flat top.
Yes.
Remember, like you could get a free flat top and the hoo hoo, the
And
owl.
remember they had taken like his picture and it was spray painted all over the city. Do you remember that?
He died, like they both died in like the 80s, late 80s.
I would say 80s,
Because I was
but
trying
no,
to
he was
Google it.
spray
He
painted
was all
all over
over. He was a
in
Portland, like,
yeah,
yeah.
and in the tunnel, the 26 tunnel and everything, all
He
over
was
the place.
almost like Ramblin' Rod, but
Yes.
more so.
Yes. He was an icon. Tom
Yeah,
Peterson was an
he
icon.
was. So when I saw that commercial on that movie, I was like, what is
Woo!
happening? I'm gonna have to look this up and talk about it. But so long story, that's how I get back to the Portland tie to that particular case, which happens to not be in Portland at all. But
Right.
it's still interesting how, you know, being that she never actually did anything,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Charles Manson didn't actually do anything. He
Yeah.
just manipulated everybody to do it. And they're the ones that stay in the prison the whole time.
Well, there's been
Still
several
claiming her
cases.
innocence though.
There's been several cases, and hers is not the only one. I actually was just watching one about a woman who did the very same thing. So,
But do you think the case, like, do you think they should stay in longer or the same? Like, what do you think
oh,
about
I think she 100% did it. Like
And even though she didn't pull the trigger, should she
oh,
have this longer sentence than everybody else?
she was
Yeah,
the mastermind of it.
she
And,
was.
and most of those kids were minors,
Mm.
not
They
necessarily,
all were.
yeah, not necessarily when they got convicted,
The thing
right?
too, she was only 23. Like
Yeah,
she was young too, and she spent more time in prison than she was out of prison at this point.
I think
But like,
she,
how sad is that you would, at 23 years old, make such a terrible decision that it will affect you your whole entire life? Like, I mean, I've made some bad choices, but at least they're not with me now. Like,
right.
I mean, other than, you know, fractured part of my soul and my foundation of who I am, but you know, anyway.
Yes, I do know what you're saying, but I
Yeah.
think that's a little bit. I think she knew exactly what she was trying to
I
manipulate.
know, like, but like 1 year, like, why wouldn't you just get,
Seriously,
and
get
when
a
they
divorce.
asked her, why didn't you just get divorced? She wanted the car, she wanted the condo, she wanted this. And I'm like, all of that is replaceable. You don't even have choices now. But I guess you don't think of those things, and she was not,
She was not well in the brain.
that's
Yeah,
sad. Anyway,
there ain't nothing worth that because guess what? You don't have the condo or the car now, and you're sitting behind bars.
yeah, you have nothing.
So did they kill the guy? They did kill the husband?
Yeah. They shot him like 6 times. They were claiming, actually, I think in the movie it said 6 times, but when the dad heard about what had happened, one of the dads of the boys, he went and looked for his gun, and I believe he saw that one of the things was missing, one of the bullets or something was missing. He turned that gun into the police. The police then checked it, and it matched the one that was used in the murder. So I think that's how it all kind of fell apart.
Oh, okay.
And then I think it went from there. Like,
Wow.
but they are all out of prison. It's just she is where she needs to be, I think.
Are they keeping their noses clean now that they are out?
I didn't even look. I don't even know. I mean, I couldn't even imagine if you already started bad and then you had this other thing. I mean,
Right?
unless you just don't want to go back, that would be.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh, jeez.
I am going to tell you another story, but I'm not prepared right now. But it's The Dead by Sunset. I mean, I probably know this case pretty well, but I don't have like everything. And I'm a terrible storyteller. I've realized in all of this, I really, because what makes sense in my head does not come out in my mouth and my words. So I need to I have to work harder at this than you, Melissa. You're just a natural, like, at a lot of things, but
You know what?
work
I think that I present things for a living, right? I present designs. And secondly, I did take Toastmasters.
Oh, you did.
Did. My
Well, the other thing
company,
is, like, if I know something, I can tell you about it, but
yeah,
when I'm trying to, like, when my friend was telling me about American Horror Story when that first came out,
yeah,
she told me, like, exactly, like, what it was and, like, the whole story. Like, when I tell you, I'm like, "Well, gosh, there's this thing, and then this happened," because it's all over the place, but when she told me, it all made sense, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like a really good show."
yeah,
There's no way I could describe that to you, like,
yeah.
um, that's just an experience you have to find out for yourself.
Right, right. What
But
was it that
I
was
this is a challenge for me to have to be better at this.
you know what? I think you're doing a good job. I like to have the information kind of laid out in an outline so that I don't just read sentences,
Yeah.
right? But that I could go, okay, I want to make sure to get this point, this point, this point. And then you do have to be willing, like with our appointment yesterday with Cindy and Michael, I had questions, right?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of skipped around, or they would talk about something and I didn't ask it. And so I didn't need to ask that. So you kind of have to be willing to bump around on your outline to go back and go, okay, well, what was this? And,
Well, I think they would probably meet with us again, and we can send them questions in advance and
yeah,
kinda let them lead it, you know? But
yeah.
I wanted to say, whatever you're looking at, it either looks like a poop emoji or it is a pyramid or something on your computer screen.
What I'm looking at? Oh, I'm looking at To Die For. Is it this thing? Can you see
Well,
my
the reflection in your glasses, it looks like a triangle.
right here? Is it this thing? Can
Look,
you
look down a little bit. Wait, now talk.
hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
it looks like a triangle in your glasses.
How
So I
do
was
I
trying to figure out what you were looking at.
show you what I'm looking at? Oh
I
wait,
think
here.
you can share screen.
It's Nicole Kidman, To Die For.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's her cleavage that you can see.
Well, and she was mad because there isn't, it's loosely based on that. There are some facts in it, but it's kind of like really loosely, she said, because she wasn't, there were a lot of things in it. There's a lot of interviews with Pamela Smart on YouTube, and I think they made her to be a little different in that movie than she was in person. But then again, I don't really know what is true if it comes out of her mouth.
Well, this is the part that is confusing. Why? Because when you told the story, it says Lydia gains national attention by telling her side of the story in a televised interview, becoming a celebrity. Larry's sister, Janice, which is played by Elaine Douglas, practices her figure skating on the frozen lake where Suzanne's corpse is hidden. But Suzanne isn't dead; she's still alive. So I don't understand.
Yeah, let me try to remember that part of the movie. I remember, I'd have to go back. There is, so somebody was supposedly put into that lake,
Yeah.
but I can't remember. But that's why that didn't, I don't think that
The
really happened.
hitman
But
lures Suzanne away from her home, kills her, and then places her beneath a frozen lake. So, okay, basking in the media spotlight, Suzanne fabricates a story about Larry being a drug addict who was murdered by Jimmy and Russell, his purported dealers. Jimmy and Russell are sentenced to life in prison. Russell gets his sentence reduced while Lydia is released on probation. Meanwhile, Larry's father, Joe, realizes Suzanne was behind his son's death and uses his mafia connections to have her murdered. The hitman lures Suzanne away from her home, kills
yeah,
her, and then places her
yeah,
beneath the lake.
right. So they had to finish the story, but um, yeah, there's an ending of her ice
Okay.
skating on the end. But when I was listening to some of the YouTube interviews, the one of the detectives on the case, when he went to question her the very first time, and she's like, because she knows media and she knows the news because that's what she wanted to become. She says something to the point, and she's not sad, she's not crying, she's not upset at all. And she's like, actually, we were about to have our wedding anniversary. there is the top of our wedding cake, you know, you're supposed to have on your anniversary in the freezer. Do you want to get some B-roll of me taking it out? And the guy was like, that's such a weird, like she's trying to sell the story. And so he knew at that point that there was something going on because it wasn't
Yeah.
making any sense. But so she was thinking shots and how to, you know, tell the story of what had happened. So
Cuckoo,
yeah, she's
cuckoo.
not good. Anyway, yeah, that's
All
what I
right. Well, I'll get a couple more stories. We'll start canning some and getting them recorded and
okay.
get some more going. Okay.
I'll break this into a couple and then we'll have those. And then, so next week will be Mike and Cindy.
Yeah.
And
So when are we doing Suzanne again?
it's not till the first Monday of January.
Okay.
And then we'll do every 3 months from then.
I got a
So we
good
could
one.
talk about that. So we'll put it on the calendar. We do have Suzanne Jock is still on our show. We're just going to be doing her quarterly. It will be starting January 1st, the first Monday of that month at 1 o'clock. We will be recording, taking
That's very
six to
confusing.
seven callers.
That was very confusing. What day is
Okay.
that? January what?
Oh God. What? Hold on. Let me look at my calendar. I don't even know. Then I have to put on my glasses to see.
Here, I got you.
No, right here. January 4th.
4th.
January
Hey,
4th at 1
Salon.
o'clock is the next Suzanne Jack.
Hey, okay. Hey, Salon Sleuth fans, we know you've been missing Suzanne Jockus and probably wondering where she's been the last few months. Well, we took a break, but we are going to have her back on the show January 4th, 2011. So that gives you plenty of time. Oh, 2011.
Well, I was thinking 21, even though you said 11, but I'm like, what? Okay, add 10 years to that.
Yeah.
So 2021 on January 4th at 1 o'clock.
So we're going to have her on our show January 4th, 2021. I can't
Yes.
even say 21. That's just
Yeah.
odd to say.
Well,
And
I'm ready to not say it 2020 any longer.
me too. Boy, this has been a cluster year, huh?
Awful. Hmm.
Woo! Well, and I keep hearing that Mercury's in retrograde or something crazy like that. Which I don't follow. Do you know anything about that?
No, but the more we do these sorts of episodes, the more I hear stuff like that. And I guess eventually it'll all start making sense. Like, I had actually the vibrational lady, she said, every new moon, set your intention for that moon. So, like, if you want to be more patient, maybe set that intention for that month under that new moon, because new moon is new beginnings. And I was like, well, that's easy enough. I could break that down into something a little bit more tangible versus like, I don't like bigger picture
I
stuff.
think mine's going to be not to be a right fighter.
Oh, Melissa, that's just who you are. And there's no reason to change who you are.
You know, I think it holds a lot of angst for me. If I could just go, oh, yeah, I was right and put it away,
Yeah.
like I think I'm holding on to energy that just isn't positive.
So then how do you change that? Besides not doing it, but what are you going to do to get rid of that? Because if you can tell me that, I can change some other things about myself, really.
I know this is a great question. I don't have the answer to this.
I'm like the same thing. It's hard for me to let go when I'm right or when I feel like I've been wronged. And how do
Wrong.
you
Yes.
do that?
Or mischaracterized or wrongly characterized, or people have the wrong impression of what happened. I am there with you 100%.
And the
So I
hard
have
thing
a
is,
question.
it's only it's only our perspective of what they're actually thinking. We don't know
Exactly.
what they're actually thinking, but this is what I think they're thinking. So therefore I'm all upset about it. Like,
I
how
know.
do you not be that?
And I want to defend myself. Gosh
Yes.
darn it.
And
Come
they're
on.
like, why are you saying that? That's not even what I was thinking. And I was like, oh,
Exactly. Oh, really? Well, then ignore what I just said.
yeah, exactly.
I do have a question though that my girlfriend asked me, and I thought it was a fabulous question to ask yourself every day. If you loved yourself, she didn't say fiercely, but if you loved yourself fiercely, or let's just say completely, what would you do today?
What would I do differently today?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that looks like.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't
what does
either.
that look like? Because like I would do what I'm doing, right? Or would I do it differently? I probably wouldn't have gone to Starbucks. I would have cared for my body a little bit more. I'd probably go for a run. And that's really just I don't know. What would you do? This is a hard
Well,
question.
so I totally fluffed off and was like, I don't even know how to answer that. And so then the rest of my girlfriends answered in what they would do. And I was like, oh, good answer, good answer. And the one said I would stop feeling stress over things that I couldn't control. That's a great answer. I love that answer. Okay, that one. And then the other one was wouldn't beat myself up for having had, ice cream with the kids last night. I'm like, "Ah, these are great, great responses. That I
Well,
couldn't think of anything.
yeah, I can't think of anything either, but I wanted to read this to you. This was on, I don't know if you remember Eric Dawson. He worked at the club um a long, long time ago, but he posted this, and I'm sure he just shared it from something else on Facebook. But it says, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, choose your hard. Obesity is hard, being fit is hard, choose your hard. Being in debt is hard, and being financially disciplined is hard, choose your hard. Communication is hard, and not communicating is hard, choose your hard. Live a life. Oh, life is never easy, but it will always be hard. Choose your hard and pick wisely. And then I was like, oh my God, that really has like stuck with me all week, because if you think about it, like right now, I'd love to lose weight. So it's not easy, but being fat isn't easy either. But
Yeah.
which one is more important? Like, which one am I willing to do? And I was like, well, when you put it that way, like, of course I can do it. It is going to be hard, but what I'm doing is hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like,
really like that.
and there's two different thoughts. Like one is you can stop beating yourself up every single day about not being the weight you want to be, right? That's a choice. Or you can start making changes that support you not being that weight for every day.
Exactly. Right.
So
And I
you
just
have
love
to
the way I
decide.
put it. Like, I was like
Yeah.
a totally different perspective. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
neither one
you
is
you
easy.
get to decide. Look, Leslie, if you're mad about this, are you going to keep doing what you're doing and keep being mad at yourself, because that's not good. Like, you don't deserve that. You're a great human being. You have a great family. You have all these wonderful things in your life. I could say a million people in a line that would sign up to have your life in your body today,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So many people would feel so blessed to have your life. So you can either choose to accept, look, this is just where I am right now. This is my body right now. I love it in spite of its flaws. It is what it is. It gave me 4 beautiful children, one wonderful husband. I have a great life.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Or you can choose to say, okay, I don't love this. I'm going to start making changes. And maybe there's small changes every single day to
Right.
love myself a little bit more. I'm going to love myself by not having that frappuccino, mochaccino, whatever, right? I'm going
Totally.
to love myself more by going out on a walk, even though I really don't want to because it's 8 o'clock and it's dark.
Yeah.
And
You're
it's
right. Totally right.
yeah, yeah. And
That one
I
you are
have
right about.
well, it's not my talk that I tell myself. It's what I try to tell. My brain tries to tell my heart, because it's not how I tend to think either. I am one of those people that go, "Oh, I worked out today, so I can have that goodie." I
Yeah.
am not the person who says, "Oh, I worked out today. I'm not going to eat that goodie."
Yeah.
And I see there's two different camps,
Hmm.
and I work out so I can have that goodie. And there's other people who work out and they go, no, 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 I don't want that goodie. I'm like,
Yeah. I'm for the reward at the end. Like,
me
you,
too.
and I need to change that. Right. Like,
No.
but I wish, like, so just because I didn't have that treat after that run or that whatever, I wish my body knew that, and then like subtracted what calories I would have taken in and deducted that for me.
Well,
Instead,
in actuality,
like, it made it a negative. It doesn't, I just, because I just didn't eat it, I didn't
yeah,
consume those calories, but I really want extra credit points for not eating it.
me too. It's that right fighting, right? We
Yeah.
want acknowledgement that we didn't eat it.
Yes. But at the same time, after for so long, we would see those
Yeah.
things.
Which is so funny that you say that, because my husband, on occasion, I maybe, talk too much. Like, Like,
What?
you know,
No.
well, and not like just babbling talk. Like I, it's like, again, right back to the right fighting. It's like I will say something in response to something, right? And sometimes he's like, "Can you just not say anything?" And so I really worked on it. This is my problem with it, Leslie. When I don't say anything, he doesn't know that I'm not saying anything. So I'm not getting credit for
Yeah,
having not said
right,
anything.
right. So you might as well just say it.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, okay, how do you know how many times I just haven't said anything?
Right.
Like
You think
I'm being good.
I don't know how to do it. Well, guess what? I refrained 6 times ago.
When we turned down this road, I knew this wasn't right, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah. I was gonna let you fail on your own, but that I wanted you to learn that lesson on yourself.
Yeah.
Well, what I was told today was because I have like this technical brain, I like to figure it all out. So if somebody does something and it doesn't jive with what I like, then I think about it and I'm like, well, they only reacted because of this. And that's why they did that. And that's why it affects me in this way. But when I do that, it eliminates my feeling towards it. And so I don't feel anything towards it. I just know I understand why they did a certain thing. Right. Does that make any sense?
Yes, kind of.
So the lady who I went to see the vibrational healing, she's like, because you don't have that feeling, that emotional attachment and you don't have feelings, she goes, that might also be why you're not being able to see and perceive your intuition as strongly, is because you've now not validated any of your feelings, because instead of feeling it, you figure out why it happened in a certain way. Does that make any
Okay,
sense?
so give me an example.
Um, let's just say, this is totally just a story, but like if I was driving and somebody totally flipped me off because I may have got in front of them a little too close, and I was like, oh my god, they're so mad because I cut in front of them, or maybe something happened to them earlier and they're just upset and they're taking it out on me, instead of me feeling anything towards that, like whether I'm frustrated or I'm also angry or I'm super upset with myself because I just cut somebody off. I don't feel that. I just, because I've gone through all the scenarios of my brain of why he may have reacted that way, therefore I don't feel anything.
So you do a good job of that? Is that what you're saying?
I do probably because I don't, yeah, I don't have that emotional line. I don't have those feelings. And she's like, because you do that and you do that so well, when when you get hits or like intuition comes in, you may not be even noticing it because you don't validate your own feelings and your own like emotion towards certain things.
Oh, interesting.
So if I were
So
to
if you were feeling more when people, let's just say, wrong you or mistreat you, if you weren't making excuses for their behavior, then you would be legitimately feeling that thing, right? Is that what she's
right,
saying? And then if you were a legitimate feeler, like allowing yourself to legitimize your feelings about something, like that hurt my feelings, or that guy's being a jerk to me, or whatever, that's uncalled for, then you would maybe be more open to your intuition.
and more sensitive to it,
Okay.
because I have now like say this is your person and then you've cut your emotions down. So I'm like this. I'm just sort of, she's like, you're super grounded and all of that. But she's like, there's just really no emotion or feelings towards stuff. So like um if I was, I don't even know how to explain it, but that's what her thought was. If I'm just so unattached is
Yes.
kind of probably more like it. If I was more, yeah,
I have wondered this, and riddle me this. Tell me what your thoughts about.
yeah.
Is we do all this work and you never ask to communicate with your dad, communicate with your mom, messages, whatever. You always want other people to have that joy and that security and that interaction, right?
Yep.
But never for yourself. So is that part and parcel of you being able to take your emotions and go, that's over here, and I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to be potentially touched with emotion by having my dad come, or my mom, or having that and being seen with that.
Well, I think there's probably two things. Yes, that might be true, but more so where, because I feel like I understand when somebody passes on, they are just not physically here, but they are spiritually still with us.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there was nothing that went unsaid between my families that I don't feel like there was like anything that I needed to connect with them for to like resolve anything, as I just feel like they knew how I felt. And so I don't really need that. But I feel like the people who maybe struggle with death or with the loss of one, if I can share that with them and let them have peace of knowing that their family members are still with them, but they're just not spiritually, they're not physically here, but they're spiritually with them at all times. And they
Yeah.
could connect them at any time. So so yes, to all of that. Like, yes, I probably don't want to feel that. And I don't want to have to bring it all up and everything. Cause I feel like I'm at a good place. I don't need that reassurance because I just know that they're fine.
Yeah.
They're probably doing the work that they need to come back, but I want to share that with others who may be struggling with that. Or if, let's just say they're on hospice or they're, terminally ill on their own. I don't want them to worry too much because you're going to be safe and you're going to be fine. And, you'll be coming back. You'll start over. It's fine. Like, although our world may be not here, but
Yeah. God willing. Well,
so
because
yeah,
I was
probably,
just
I've never actually thought about it that way, but no.
I just thought of the fact that I've never seen you cry. I've never really seen you be emotional.
Yeah. I mean, probably very rarely, but our EFT lady, she saw me like,
Well, that's right. That's right.
and it was so hard for me. And afterwards, I'm like, I'm okay now. And she's like, well, what just happened? I'm like, I don't know what just happened. Like, it just happened. Like, and I don't even remember what she asked me, but she would always say, well, how does that make you feel? And I would say, well, I know he did this because of this. And I made sense of all of it. She's like, I know you understand why it happened,
Right.
but how did it make you feel? And I'm just like, well, like shit. And that's why I don't like, excuse my language, but that's why I don't yeah, I don't know. So maybe I need to just
Well, you
like steal
clearly have
magnolias or something.
you clearly have adapted an ability to kind of compartmentalize that emotion. I know we've been doing this now, what, for 6 months, 7 months. It's our seventh month. And I've broken down into tears a couple times and been like, okay, I'm tearing up, like got tears
Yeah.
welling in my eyes. But I don't think I've ever seen that from you.
Well, like sometimes I'll get like, like
But Klimt,
more moisture in my eyes than normal. I mean, but
it's not a bad thing. I just was wondering if that's kind of what she was implying is
yeah,
that
I
you,
think so. But I guess I didn't realize that so much about I mean, I don't know. That's something for me to think about, I guess.
I don't know either.
Mm.
I don't know, but I know this is getting stronger. We just have to keep tapping into it.
Whatever that means. I don't
I
know. One
know.
day I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, Melissa, your mom, blah, 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 blah. No, grandma, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. My grandma's sitting right here. That
Yeah,
was crazy.
we'll have our stories. Have you been working with your pendulum?
No, but I was thinking about yesterday because I was like, you need to get your pendulum
I
out and
know.
your pendulum because
Well,
I did
you
it with
asked me
Eric.
that. I was like, I'm gonna wait till you meet these people first because I totally got a different thought about them
Yeah.
than what you thought. And I just needed you to meet them first and be like, okay.
I got it out and I did it with Eric and he was not better than me, I will have to tell you. But that time
Really?
when I did it, Leslie, it actually worked.
Let me
But
grab mine really quick.
and I couldn't find anywhere where it would say how long it should be. The pendulum string should be. I couldn't find that online anywhere because I was kind of playing with it. But I think I do better when mine is longer.
Look what I have.
Oh, look at him.
Daisy.
Wait, it's her. It's right. Daisy? Is that Daisy?
You're so heavy.
Is that Daisy?
Yes.
Okay, I can't remember which dog we're on now.
So I think like I would hold it like this. Give it a
Right.
couple
I think
inches.
mine does better when I have it a little longer too.
Well,
Here's my
that's
question though.
everybody's personally.
Oh, okay. I was reading they say take your two fingers and like do
Hold it.
something like this. Is that do you
Probably
do?
to keep it from swinging, like to stop it.
Yeah, like you stop it, you come down it, and then do you have a special way of doing that?
I guess I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't even realize I do it, but I probably to stop it when I'm getting it going. We'll have to do a whole episode about this.
Yeah. How long's your string? How long is your from
I just
there to
hold it
there?
like this. I hold it in my hand. Well, usually I go like this. and then
See,
hold the rest in my
I
hand.
do too, but you hold it different, right? Do you string it over your finger like this?
No, I just hold it.
You just hold it like this. Okay. Is that the way you're supposed to hold it?
I,
Because I usually
it's
do this
all a
way.
personal preference, however you want to do it.
Well, I'm not very good at it, so I gotta, figure this out. I'm
Whatever.
gonna do it when we get off.
Everyone's going to be different. Like, so Jeanette's probably going to teach us a totally different way, but that's just her way,
Oh,
right?
and did you see that? I think it was last Sunday. She's like, I can record today.
Oh, where did she write that? In an email?
She texted that. Oh, I think she maybe didn't include you, and I was like, what? We're recording?
Oh, I did not even know that she had done that.
I think she just texted me now that I think that.
So my son texted me while I was at work, and he wanted an old man haircut. Um, when there's just hair along the sides and the back and nothing on the top?
Shut up. Was
So,
this for Halloween?
no, just because. So I brought my clippers home,
Kristen?
Deegan, my quiet one. So I said, okay. And I told Michael, like, we're going to give him an old man haircut. He's like, okay, it's COVID. We're not going anywhere. So then I gave the clippers to Deegan. He wanted me to do it. I said, I'll do it, but you have to make the first thing. So
Yeah.
he went to the bathroom and just shaved right here off. I said, okay. So I basically just he has no hair. So when he wears his hat, you can't tell. So when he's in his Zoom classes for school, he takes off his hat and it's like his teacher's like, but I wanted to shave it completely bald. So there's just really short hair. Like it looks like Fred Flintstone, like the little where it's gray.
Okay. So he didn't want to
No,
smooth.
so there is no guard on that. It's there. There's no hair there, but enough that you can see like a 5 o'clock shadow type.
Yeah.
He thinks it's really cool.
That is so funny.
I thought are we going to shave the rest of it off? He's like, no, I was going to keep this for a while. Okay.
It's like old mom jeans, and then they call them dad shoes, right? The big clunky tennis shoes are called I think they're called dad shoes.
Okay.
And the dad hats that they're wearing now, they call dad hats. So is this the thing now, dad haircut?
This would be more like a grandpa haircut. And I go, the hair that's a little longer on each side, try to comb it over, because that would be more of an old man, right? Like if he got it wet and then just kind of greased it over, even though that hair would probably only cover this much of it.
Is he gonna go trick or treating?
No, they're not going out of this house. We're gonna have our own party. I'm gonna do a scavenger hunt, which I think I told you about. We're gonna do our own scavenger hunt with our own things in our own house, and we're gonna play pin the nose on the witch. Lucy drew this beautiful witch, and we're gonna pin the nose on the witch. We are gonna gamble for Halloween candy.
Ooh,
so I recently saw that movie Molly's Game.
Oh, that was
Did you ever see that?
Yeah, that was an old movie. Yeah.
Was it? That's a good movie. So that's what sort of inspired me to curl my hair this way, because she went like this.
Oh
In
yeah.
Molly's Game. So I was trying to because I thought she was so pretty. I wanted to.
She is pretty, very pretty.
So we've been doing gambling, and I've been there's a bank where right now we have some candy banked up in the home bank or whatever.
Yeah, the house.
The house account. So their house bank or whatever. I've got some candy built up in there.
Oh my gosh, I
have
love
to
it.
tip
Okay,
me
so
to
will other kids be trick or treating?
Because we live in an older neighborhood, they usually go to the newer neighborhood where they give out bigger candies, or the houses are also closer together.
Okay.
And so we don't get very many anyway. So we'll just keep our light off and maybe put out a little bowl. But like Michael would, if there was anything left over, he'd just throw it away. He wouldn't want anything that people have touched. And we did do bags over the weekend.
Full candy bar size things, and I was gonna wrap them in cellophane and lay them out separately.
Yeah.
So that somebody could that's smart. One. But I don't know if we don't get very many trick or treaters, but I just put out a few. And
my neighbor next door, he was asking, he's in his 80s. He's like, are we doing trick or treating this year? And I said, well, we might come to your house, but nobody else is. I just don't think, and we have some new kids in the neighborhood, and I'm just like, we're not doing anything. We're not leaving this house. I'm sure the boys will get back on their Xbox and we'll watch a scary movie or, you
Yeah.
know,
I was gonna say he could attach some fake hair and do like a comb over. Or he
on
could even
Monday,
do a
maybe I should just take some from the salon and like kind of like what the eyelash glue.
yeah. He could even do a full Donald Trump swirl on there.
Well, and then he comes out of the house. He goes, I kind of think he might be bald on top. And he's just, I'm like, you think? Of course he's doing
Really?
that. Like, you just don't pay attention to stuff like that until you have a reason to like pay attention.
So cute.
Anyway, I'm gonna let you
Right
get
there.
off at this
Yes.
thing.
All right. I will talk to you
Thank you
later.
for joining me.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to all of you who have already subscribed. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share our content. You can also find us on YouTube. We do have a channel. We do have 8 whole followers, but we would love to see that go up a little bit. But you can actually see what we look like, and we would love to have some interaction with the comment page. So thank you very much for listening this week, and we'll see you next time.